Hello and welcome to the third topic on logistics and procurement skills, and we are discussing the topic on warehousing. Warehousing generally is all about storage. So the definition of a warehouse, we can simply say that is a building or a part of a building where goods are received and are stored until the need arises for them to be used. So these buildings are quite very important in terms of logistics. It is where we store our goods, our raw materials, and so on and so forth. And we have the definition of warehousing. We are saying now this is the process of receiving goods into a warehouse, protecting such goods against all types of hazards, and then releasing them to the users when the need arises for them. There are three distinct stages in warehousing process. These stages include namely receiving goods into the warehouse, the other one is storing them, and the other one is releasing them to the users. Importance of warehousing to business. The first one is a steady and a continuous flow of goods. Producers can produce and store goods awaiting demand through warehousing. The other one, we can also ensure stability in prices. Most of what people do in the logistics world, they will store goods and await for the prices to be able to stabilize. Maybe there are prices that have gone down. They can store the goods and await the prices to go up. Then they release the goods. Another importance of warehousing is security. It ensures that goods are protected against physical damage and adverse weather conditions. This also ensures that the quality of goods is maintained until they are demanded. So warehousing or warehouses are a source of security for goods. The other one is helps bridging the time gap or the time between the production and consumption. So once we produce, we can store and then release the goods as per the request or as per the demand. Another importance is continuous or uninterrupted production schedules. So through warehousing, manufacturers are able to buy raw materials in large quantities and store them awaiting their need to arise. The other one is preparation of goods for sale. While in the warehouse, goods can be prepared for sale, e.g. they can be blended, packed, graded, or sorted out. Importance of warehousing to business. The first one is a continuation. Actually, this one is a continuation. Sale of goods. Goods may be sold while still in the warehouse. If sold while in a bonded warehouse, duty passes to the buyer. I think that I will be clarifying that when we go to the types of warehouses. We are going to see the bonded warehouse. Then specialization. Warehousing encourages specialization in production and distribution. Producers concentrate on producing while distributors store the goods. The other one is unexpected demand can be met. The government will, in this case, when practicing warehousing, collect agricultural goods, e.g. cereals. Like for the government, we have what we call National Cereals and Produce Board, NCPB, where all farm produce are stored. The government is able to buy maize from farmers and other kinds of harvest, and that they are stored in those produce boards. Those are warehouses, examples of warehouses. Then we have clearance of goods. Warehousing helps in clearance of goods. That is, goods entering the country can be inspected by the custom officials. Essentials of a warehouse. There are features and resources a warehouse should have in order for it to function effectively. The first one is the warehouse should be in an ideal location. So the location is quite important. Manufacturer house should be located near his or her factory. So where the factory is, we can have a warehouse near it. Then the proper building. A warehouse should have proper buildings which are suitable for different types of goods stored. The other one is equipment. A warehouse should be equipped with appropriate facilities for handling goods such as forklifts, conveyor belts. Of course, these are goods or equipments to make the work of lifting easier in the warehouse. So they are very critical equipment that should also not miss in any warehouse. Another essential is accessibility. So the warehouse should be in a place where the users can be able to get to it without a lot of difficulties. The other one is on safety and security. It should be fitted with safety equipment or facilities necessary for protection of goods against damage caused, such things like water, fire, or sunshine. Other equipments, we can also have cameras to be able to actually be able to follow up on what is happening on the warehouse. The other one is qualified personnel. A warehouse should have well-trained and efficient staff personnel for proper management and efficient functioning. And the other one is we need to have a recording system. This is of course to help us to be able to keep track of what is coming in and what is leaving the warehouse. So we have an assessment point here. The first assessment point, you are going to read these particular questions and attempt them and answer them as part of the assessment of this particular course. And each of these questions is 10 marks. So that assessment point 1 has a total of 30 marks. Then now we look at the types of warehouses. So we can have, this is what I just mentioned a while ago. We have what we call private warehouses, public warehouses, and bonded warehouse. Private warehouses, these are warehouses that are owned by private individuals, organizations, for the purpose of storing their goods. Those are private, so they are individually owned, and they include wholesalers, producer warehouses, and retailer warehouses. Advantages of private warehouses: the owner has full control. That's correct. The warehouse is designed to suit the specific needs of the organization. It enables specific handling, storage, and protection of goods by having special facilities which may not be available in a public warehouse. So private warehouse, individuals are able to invest in advanced facilities. The other one is the owner is not tied down by procedures of receiving and issuing goods, unlike in public warehouses. So there are no restrictions because it is privately owned. The other one is the owner does not incur the cost of hiring space, unlike with a public warehouse. The other one, and lastly, the operation can easily be automated because the goods can be received, or to be received, stored, and dispatched are already known. Some of the disadvantages of private warehouses: the first one is the initial construction cost is very high. So it's very expensive. It is very expensive in terms of cost to set up such a warehouse. The other one is underutilization of personnel and facilities may occur, especially in times of low volumes. The other one is that they may not employ qualified management personnel and are consequently disadvantaged in dealing with management problems. And lastly, as a disadvantage, it risks arising from dangers such as fire, pests, theft, and so on and so forth. Public warehouses, these are warehouses owned by individuals, organizations who do business. The other one are the advantages: a public warehouse serves a number of customers that will deal with the same product. Another advantage is that goods stored in a public warehouse may be sold without their physical movement. So you can sell still when they are in the public warehouse, and whoever has bought them now can go and collect them from the public warehouse. The other one is traders can rent space. So there are spaces where you can rent if you have some few goods for you to store. The other one is that traders do not construct their own houses or do not have to tie up capital in storage buildings and handling equipment. Goods are insured against risks such as damage by fire and theft. Number F, a trader may get a short-term loan from warehousing firm by using the goods as collateral. So the goods that you have placed as collateral, you can, or the goods, you can provide documentation to show that you have goods in the warehouse for to be able to access various loan facilities. The other one is, apart from handling, sorting, documentation of goods, additional services such as bottling, bagging, repairs, or damaged goods can be offered by public warehouses. And lastly, sharing equipment and machinery enables users to reduce handling costs. So it is cheaper because the space is shared. The space is shared among a number of people who have leased spaces. Disadvantages of public warehouses: the hirer is denied the opportunity to physically handle the goods and is forced to compete for attention with other hirers of the warehouse. So that is a major disadvantage. Number two, the hirer may lose contact with his or her customers since they get goods from a rented warehouse away from the hirer's premises. So you may not really keep your customers in check because of the using of public warehouses. They may not get to access the facility where you are storing your goods. The hirer may get poor services or miss space altogether. So because everyone wants to hire a small space to store their goods, it may not be readily available. Documentation involving receipt and release of goods in a public warehouse is likely to be long and complicated. So that is the documentation on public warehouses. Another disadvantage: continued renting of space can even be more expensive than constructing. Yeah, so it is costly. If you are a regular person who is leasing space, it is quite expensive to have always to use the public warehouses. The other one is the public warehouses are sometimes situated far away from the hirer's premises, unlike private ones, which are usually within the vicinity of the owner's premises. Yeah, so sometimes accessing them, they could be very difficult. The operations of a general merchandise public warehouse are difficult to automate because different kinds of goods need different methods and equipments to handle them. Then we have a bonded warehouse. So these are public warehouses for keeping imported goods until custom duties have been paid. They are mainly located at the points through which goods enter. Imported goods, we are saying, that are kept in this type of warehouses. So the reason why we are calling them bonded, it is because goods are under bond or goods in bond. Bonded warehouses, we are also saying that they are called so because the owners of such warehouses give a bond to the custom authorities. So you give some little money as you organize yourself to pay custom duty. So we say those goods are on a bond. Advantages: while in bond, goods can be prepared for sale. So you can look for clients as you prepare, as the goods are still in the bonded warehouse. The owner can look for the market for the goods before paying the duty. So you can source for the market, and later you pay for the bond now and get your goods. The other one is some goods lose weight while in the warehouse, so the duty paid becomes lower if based on weight. So the more you store them, the more some of them might lose weight. Then the other one is if goods are sold while still in the bonded warehouse, the duty passes to the buyer. So if you get to sell the goods when they are still in the bonded warehouse, then the one who has bought them is the one now who pays the duty. The duty is now the tax for importation. Then the importer has more time to arrange for payment of custom duty. The other one is security is provided for the goods, so the importer is relieved of the task of providing security for his or her goods. And lastly, some goods improve in quality while a warehouse, for example, wine and tobacco. So some of the goods, once we store in the warehouse, they improve in quality. They are able to become better and to be more effective to those that use them. So that brings us to the end of the topic on warehousing. You can keep reading on warehousing. There are quite a number of other discussions that would be very, very critical, and that will enlighten you more. Thank you.